Hey everybody, and welcome to, what is this, episode 21, season 2 of Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas about your favorite, just your all-time favorite hockey team that you just can't get enough of. That's right, the Detroit Red Wings have a home. Oh boy, this is going to be fun to talk about.
That's what I'm talking about. We got to do a little business first, though, man. Got to do a little business first. Let's do that business. We got some enthusiasm for the business, at least. So it's not quite time for the madness. The macho madness. Yeah, that is college basketball in March. But that doesn't mean the fun has to wait. DraftKings Sportsbook's got your back, buddy! America's top-rated sportsbook app is giving all new players a chance to cash $100. New customers can bet $1 on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week. And if your team makes it rain, a single three-pointer, you cash $100. Beautiful. That's right. All it takes is for one three-pointer. Even in Detroit, our beloved Pistons hit a three-pointer or two. All it takes, at this point, even the Red Wings might hit a three-pointer or two, right? No, probably not. But being hit by your chosen team to hit turn $1 into $100, just like that. Sounds like a no-brainer to me. The slam dunk of an offer. And look at this tomahawk. Yeah, so this is a tomahawk, but with money, so it's better. Won't be around forever, so head to the App Store now, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and get in on all the action.
If basketball isn't for you, we know what show you're watching right now. DraftKings Sportsbook has daily odds on hockey, soccer, and so much more. Maybe they should add pro wrestling. DraftKings has paid out over $7 billion to its customers since 2012, so they know a thing or two about big paydays. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN to get your shot at $1 into $100 when you bet on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week. That's promo code THPN for new customers to get a shot at 100 to 1 odds on any basketball team to hit a three-point shot only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey, Indiana, Michigan, or Virginia only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. Winnings paid out in 4 $25 free bets. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT, or in Virginia, call 888-532-3500. Mike, we need a phone number to call when you've got a Red Wings problem, because I am just so angry. I'm not even that angry about the Red Wings. I'm just angry with conversations I'm having online. I'm angry with the fact that I'm stuck watching this team. I'm angry that Mike Tirico and Eddie Olczyk watch this game and they're just I don't know. The shots are going. I don't know why they're not going in the net. Honestly, it just feels like such a Detroit sports thing right now. And by that I mean how many times have we seen Lions games end and the announcers are just I've never seen this happen before. But it happened to the Lions.
It's another one of those statistical anomalies. We've, we'll put it on the list with Calvin Johnson processing the catch. I don't know, Matt. Give me another good one. I don't have another one in the chamber. This hockey game has entered it. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Lankinen just decided to make a name for himself. Starting with the Detroit Red Wings this season, this is his second fantastic game. There's so many things that we could start going over. There's the advanced analytics, and I've been talking with our blogger Jesse today. We've been bouncing numbers back and forth, but that's the long and short of it. And he made a good point today where it's just like, you know what, who gives a crap? Because ultimately, Mike, what we did was we put up 0 goals, and it doesn't matter how we dissect it, because really what I was going to say was the expected goals for Lincoln was 2.72. He was supposed to give up almost 3 goals today. He gives up none on those 29 shots. It's just one of those things where it really looked like we were going to put in a power play goal finally today. Brome, Mike, we talk about expected goals for, and you measure it. The expected goals for percentage is measured by a percentage to say what was your expected goals for, and what was the expected goals against you would have allowed from this predictive model. Mike, Brome's numbers today were 98%. He was playing balls off the wall. He was awesome today, setting up so many great chances. And it's not going in for him. I don't know. And another conversation I had today, Mike, because we just go in circles and we'll start to recap this, but I'm going to break the fourth wall for everybody here. I got to get Mike to bed. Mike has actual things he's doing tomorrow. So this could just be another 25 minutes of Matt ranting. Mike will just pop off the screen, and then we'll send this off and send it to the Hockey Podcast Network for tomorrow morning. But it's just so frustrating.
I know you were inspired by the power play. I just it was when we pulled Bernier with about a minute to go, and almost immediately we reverted back to our usual man advantage bad habits. We immediately made a blind whirling dervish pass by Fabry to nobody, and it resulted in an empty net goal for Chicago almost instantly. And then the game was over. And Tirico was just at a loss for words, just trying to explain, well, that's usually a play, maybe with like 10 seconds to go in the game, and maybe Fabry thought there was like half a second left. And, right. Oh, was it Olczyk?
Yeah, Olczyk was the one who threw that, because that's what I was gonna steal that. I had that note down because that was I think we get mad at him because he's a former Chicago Blackhawk, but he made that was such a great point. Like, there's no reason to make that play right there. And
what's funny about that play too, Matt, and because what we've been doing is, instead of just going game by game, we've just kind of like meshed the series into one. Mm-hmm. So in this Chicago series, like in the first game, I felt like there was so many plays, and where I think even in between periods, they were commenting on how the Red Wings defensemen were joining the rush. People were keeping their heads up. They were trying to make passes to open guys, even if they weren't quite crisp, which is probably why we didn't get any goals, or at least enough goals to, tie or win.
Yeah.
But they were making heads up plays, and it was just funny that in a desperate move, we reverted back to those bad habits. Heads down, not keeping the play going, not making the smart play, and then ultimately, helped contribute to getting shut out by, not somebody we would call a world beater, defending the cage for Chicago. So, just kind of disheartening to see, Brome was kicking ass tonight, and I really feel like the Red Wings played really well in the first game of this little mini series. Just coming up a little bit short, but it's 2 more losses. But I don't know how much you can really hang your head, because at this point, what we're trying to see is effort, and at least we're seeing effort. And this time, I think it was Tirico who was saying, this is inspiring play from Chicago, who's won like 7 of their last 9 or 10. Yeah. And they're playing almost all rookies with Patrick Kane. And I think ideally the Red Wings are about a season away from doing that, and being almost totally out from under contracts that were anybody above the age of, I'd say, 21 at this point, with all the kids that they plan on calling up. It looks like Chicago's probably, a goal for us to have. like in the next season or two.
Well, I mean, you talk
Because
about
their kids are scoring, and it looks more encouraging than the one or two young players that we play.
yeah, and that's something too that's kind of making no sense. Like this wasn't in our show notes, but Smith getting sent down. We're waiting for I think Svechnikov, who just got called up to probably cross some T's and dot some I's in regards to COVID and what the protocol is before he can actually join the team, which also begs the question, why would you make the move? Because Giovanni Smith wasn't necessarily playing poorly. He was even producing from a goal and assist perspective. So I mean, I guess really that's sort of a wash, because you're taking one young guy and replacing him with another young guy, or just kind of the difference there between those two is where the expectations started based on where you drafted one guy and where you drafted the other. So you're hoping to get more out of Svechnikov, but ultimately, shoot, it looks like both of them would be riding the taxi squad. I'm starting to wonder too, and this is gonna be where we put on the aluminum or the tinfoil cap. How many guys we're talking about? Yeah, I signed because of the conversation I had with Steve Yzerman. How much of that conversation was Steve going, look, we're not going to play any of the young guys. You can get on the ice, you can have fun, mix it up out there. You're going to come on and make either like Gagne numbers, you're making Bobby Ryan numbers super low, but we're going to give you a spot this year. I don't care what happens. Because I just don't, at this point, I'm not understanding the game plan. I don't know if it's just the development is more likely to happen if they're in Grand Rapids, or shoot, even what makes less sense is, are they just going to sit on the taxi squad? But Mike, I know a lot of it is pile on Jeff Blashill, but I mean, he's not sitting there turning in a piece of paper and making the roster moves. And just to use an overused word right now, so it's going to be kind of confusing, but he's not in like a bubble and he's the only one making these decisions. Like this is confusing to me on what exactly the game plan is here, because Blashill is either suggesting that it would be better for Giovanni Smith, Hirose to not get time over who else is getting time. But then there's also the idea that from Steve Yzerman's perspective, he's giving the thumbs up. He's like, yeah, taxi squad it up. Keep those guys out of here. And if it were a money thing, which you and I have talked about before, which is awful, what goes on with like Giovanni Smith when he was on the taxi squad, and like you're only getting paid for those 2 hours that you were actually playing hockey. The rest of the time you're on your AHL contract. If it was about saving money, then what are we doing with like Nielsen? Like, am I just missing something there? Is it because they're on a 2-way contract that they will get paid less? And if Nielsen goes on the taxi squad, he's going to get paid $5 million to be on the taxi squad. If that's something, then that point that I just made, toss it right out. But if that's not going to happen, the fudge is going on. That's where the conversation of, put the tinfoil cap on. Did Steve talk to all the old guys and say, look, you're not going to have to worry about that taxi squad. You're going to be playing the whole time. You'll make your full bucks. Like, was that where it was? I talked to Steve Yzerman and I'm all thumbs.
Yeah. These are, it's not the end times, because we still have to wait. We still got to wait about 30 more games. This is such a rough time, because I think if you look and see the other major Detroit sport, the Pistons, they're basically getting rid of, all their older players. Looks like their point guard, Derrick Rose, is gone. Blake Griffin, they've stopped playing him in games, and it's essentially all the draft picks, all the young players that their GM has acquired. And I think it's just tough, because with the Red Wings, you gotta ice a team, right? That's what Yzerman's been telling us. And I don't know how that works with hockey player development, where it's so much different from like an NFL rookie usually gets thrust right in. Like the basketball, the rookies will just get thrust right in. And even if you stink, it's supposed to help you get a better draft pick. So I don't know what, unless, it's just at a point where Yzerman doesn't think that playing these guys and watching them get annihilated every night is a good idea. I think he's trying to have some semblance of, at least these guys they're not going to set the world on fire and, score more than 4 goals in a game the whole season. But maybe they will make it so that we're not a complete statistical embarrassment while these kids are still trying to put weight on and, figure out tricks of the trade. And it's just so tough because we have to be so patient and wait for these guys to pan out. That, when you see another game where Franz Nielsen's playing, Filppula is playing.
Gagne.
We
got to see a great slap of the leg pad by Gagne on the power play. I don't know what the hell. I tweeted it out. I thought I'd get more juice from it, but I think everybody's just so frustrated. They're not ready for the sarcasm. They're not ready for those sarcastic tweets. Because it's like, all right, let's make sure we get Gagne's stick on the ice. That's why he's on the team, so we can fill out a proper power play unit. Comes in for the rebound, whack, right on like in its leg. It's like, all right, thanks. Yeah, thanks for playing. I appreciate it. I get what you're saying. I just think like Hirose has played and he's been effective. Smith's played and he's been effective, and now it's like Svechnikov was actually producing in Grand Rapids, and my big fear is that we'll also be, I follow Greg Krupa, and he tweets out a hashtag at the end of every game, free Hirose, free Smith. So I'm worried that his new one will be free Svechnikov. He might run out of characters, so you might not have to worry about that. But I don't know. It seems like a no-brainer, but it's I don't know. Long story short, disappointing. I do still like. I took all these notes down for some of these numbers we had through these 2 games. Like it wasn't a complete disappointment. There was so much to take away from this. It's crazy that the Red Wings could be in this position to have such poor puck luck. And I do want to change that puck luck conversation into talking about anti-blashers is how I'm going to refer to them from now on. Because I think it's time that, Mike, your comment about the talent, needing to beef up a little bit. And then, of course, we're playing these old farts while we let that happen. I think we really just need to sit there and kind of either ask the question, are these guys hurt and we haven't been told yet? And I'm looking at Larkin and Mantha. Or are they just not that good? All right.
Oh, that's a distinct possibility. That could be the case.
Red Wings game 1, win the possession battle easy, 60-40. The high danger goes 2/3 in our direction. Expected goals 2/3 in our direction. Some of the star players in that first game, Nemistikov, Juice, putting on the goals, but then their own individual performances were off the charts in regards to like individual expected goals. So what they're throwing at the net. Nemistikov leads the way in that first game, doubling up even the first place person on the Chicago Blackhawks in that first game. Brome, Mike, I mentioned the 98% expected goals today percentage. He was 92 in game 1. Brome's just been a nut out there. Like he is keeping the puck away from his opponent. And he's that right now, since we can now say, all right, so he's not putting the puck in. But if we're trying to find the junkyard dog that can replace Giovanni Smith, who was playing very well with Larkin, and of course, who he was replacing being Tyler Bertuzzi, then Brome's certainly eating up that ice time and holding on to the puck long enough for us to get some good shots. But he's also got a twinge more skill. So we saw it today where he was making moves up to the front of the net, making moves behind the net to not only hang on to the puck and create second chances, but just, he's throwing it at the net himself. We know the goals just aren't going in for Brome. but he's creating a ton, like 90% expected goals for the amount of time he's getting because he's playing with the first line. That's nuts. That's very good. Now the counter to that is you mix it up, right? You got to do something to measure, like, is something going on where it's just because Larkin and Zadina are out there and not Brome? Well, Mike, that's why I brought it up. We're going to talk about Anthony Mantha, Mike, heading to the first line. And our two worst performing lines today, in regards to expected goals, had one thing in common, and it was a jumble of lines. Anthony Mantha was mixed in there. So Mike, I don't know what we want to pull from this, because I asked the right question first. Are there injuries that we're not aware of right now? But ultimately, you take a look at that first line. You put Matthias Brome, Dylan Larkin, or Matthias, and Philip Zadina together. That line, the expected goals was 97%. That's for the forward line. So what I was talking about before was just Brome's numbers individually. So now you take out a Brome, you put it in Anthony Mantha, Mike, and it's at 35%. 35 expected goals. 35%. What was that?
Crunch him again.
All right. I had to scroll over to see it. 35%, Mike, compared to 97%. Now, we are talking a little bit more ice time, so things could have gone poorly for... or you know what? Let me take that back. Sorry. 6 more seconds of ice time for when Brome, Larkin, and Zadina were together. So there's more time for them to fudge it up, if you want to make that call. So yeah, I just, we had Mantha benched, and you and I did a whole episode where we were like, there's nothing wrong with Mantha. Look at the analytics. Now this game, This is it. This is where you can actually play the game for the replacement player. And those numbers just fell right off the charts when you change that first line. I'm worried. I'm worried about Larkin. Especially worried about Mantha, because that's something where you look at those numbers that the first line was producing. You almost don't even want him out there.
Well,
I've left you stunned.
It's kind of. There's not really a lot to debate. He doesn't really have the, like the Detroit. We'll call him the Detroit News statistics. He's not scoring or assisting. He's not doing deep cut analytics. He's really not contributing a whole lot right now. So there isn't really room to debate. But this team has put such a financial and time, a large time and financial investment in him. There's not a lot they can do besides, well, maybe he can ride the coattails of Zadina and Larkin, and we'll kind of see how that goes. On the eyeball test, right? Game 1 in Chicago, he looked like Mantha.
Right.
He had a couple big boy opportunities, where it looked like Mantha of old, where he looked bigger and stronger than other people on the ice. But I don't know. We're not really getting any answers here. We're just kind of puzzled watching another, debacle offensively. I think, Matt, it's almost at this point just wishful thinking to find out that one of them is injured. Because if this is just, a best case scenario for their abilities, it's pretty disheartening. I think that's the second time I've used this word in this episode.
Yeah, it tends to happen when one discusses Detroit Red Wings fandom.
Were there any positives this week, Matt? Any positives?
Well, yeah, I guess you could hang on the Matthias Brome stuff, but we also got some great goaltending. I guess it's the same old positive. So Bernier played good. Greiss, really? If you take a look at the deep cut analytics, he allowed more goals than what the analytics said should have happened. We really shut down the Blackhawks in that first game. So anything that was more than one was going to be a letdown. Which is, is that entirely fair to throw out there? Because Greiss has, I think, easily been the better of the two goalies when you're looking at Bernier and Greiss. And Greiss also had to hold the team up while Bernier was out. So I'm not calling Greiss bad in any way, but it just kind of, you talk about statistical anomalies again. Like, we're always trying to figure out, like, what do we need to do to get a win? Well, Greiss, for the first time this season, really played poorly when compared to like the expected goals. So he really just gave up some juicers, and it's just kind of like what can go wrong in each game. Well, that's what went wrong in the last game. Was Greiss just happened to let a couple extras slip by? Then again, the analytics suggest he should have. But yeah, you said what happened. What was good? I guess, yeah, Bernier. Bernier tonight. I'll come back to that point. Neither of those goalies are playing as well as Lankin right now, who's, I think, making his claim for the Calder trophy. But, we'll see how that goes as the season continues. You might get some competition with Pius Suter, who I actually hesitated there because Mike Tirico kept calling him Pius, and
that's not.
I would go with Pius. Yeah, I don't know. I did ask everybody online. Nobody gave me a good answer. So I will throw out there too, Mike. Red Wings with the 5-on-5 strategy, we were able to keep the Blackhawks away from the front of the net for 2 periods today. So for us to go into the third period with only allowing 1 goal, I mean, that's how you do it. I made the comment in the first. I said, all right, well, you can't lunch them on high danger chances 4-0 and do this for 3 periods and expect to win. And, lo and behold, that didn't hold up. So it kind of goes back to when you have a first period like the Red Wings did today, you got to take advantage of it. All right, Mike, we got a couple more things to throw out there. Do you have a Who's That Pokemon?
Yeah, I think I'd get one of those scrounged up for us here. Let me make sure.
I mean,
I wasn't trying to leave you hanging. I shoot.
Well, we've got some other news to discuss too. Moritz Seider is returning to play, and I thought it would be fun to look back at why this is exciting because he's been out for a little bit. And I wanted to bring up a graph that we showed just to remind everybody why this is so exciting to just have Seider at least some good news coming that way, and to know he's going to be developing, playing. I don't know, whatever makes you more excited. That little blue dot for anybody watching on YouTube, that represents Moritz Seider, just destroying the charts created by Prashant Iyer, and of course that's at Iyer_Prashant. He's guested on the show before. Man is an analytics genius, but really highlighting here just how great Seider's been doing over in the SHL. So it's good to know that he'll be back on the ice and getting ready, because even though the Red Wings are playing well defensively, I think we all have seen what Seider's been able to do in the SHL with some replays at some point, and we just see that there's a guy who's playing just as well on the defensive side as he is on the offensive side. So just to kind of get that extra little oomph. And if you could imagine like getting a guy that's playing as well as like Stetcher is right now and having maybe his pairing be with Seider would be fun, I have to say. But I mean, you're talking too from a size aspect. It's a nice 1-for-1 stall for Seider, and I think we'd all agree that would be fun to watch. But yeah, just a little bit of extra good news there, and then of course, Mike, maybe some bad news coming up.
No.
Red Wings have the Florida Panthers Friday and Saturday night, so looks like everybody will be able to record Sunday morning since we don't have a game on recording day. Red Wings, Mike, 1-2-1 against Florida this season, and then the Panthers are rolling in hot. They did go down pretty handily to the Tampa Bay Lightning a couple nights ago, but since the Red Wings took down the Panthers 4-1 in their last 5 games, the Panthers themselves are 4-1. So
I mean, Florida definitely had some sleepless nights after that Red Wing defeat, and I think they've been grinding their kitty cat molars just thinking about going on a revenge tour. But we definitely inspire some of the teams in the NHL. Chicago's in the doldrums, and now they're one of the hottest teams in the league.
Yep.
Florida was pissed off at us. Now they're one of the hottest teams in the league. We are literally the NHL's kindling to get the fire going in your respective town. So you're welcome.
Man, Chicago, second place in the Central right now. Jesus.
Woo! You're welcome.
Playoff team if it started today. Yep.
Matt, I think we need a little Who's That Pokemon action.
Oh, we're ready for Who's That Pokemon?
Yeah. Where basically I cherry pick a quote out of context from head coach Jeff Blashill, guest read by Paul Woods, the color commentator, the voice of the radio broadcast of the Red Wings. And Matt is going to have to guess who Jeff Blashill was talking about. Matt, are you buckled in?
I'm ready to go.
All right, now last time we did get a Jeff Blashill quote. This time I won't disappoint you. We got the man himself, all the Jeff blashers. We'll call them blashers. I like that. Instead of a basher, a blasher. You know, like
I liked it like
anti-blasher.
Yeah, anti-blash.
Yeah, kind of. Okay, well, we'll agree to disagree. Matt, are you buckled in?
Come on. I was so happy when I thought of that earlier today. You got to do some improv with me once in a while and go, yes, and.
No, stop.
Bad.
No, stop. No, stop.
No.
Okay.
Stop trying. All right. Here's my game. All right. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. All right. Here we go. Well, once again, very excited to be here on Brothers of Discussions hockey podcast, Red Wings Rant. Here we go. This is from head coach Jeff Blashill himself. Blank played really well. He's moved the puck well. I think he's earned the opportunity to play up there a little bit, and it just gives us a little bit different look. I think he's played really well for us. Matt, I think it's safe to say Blashill thinks this guy played really well. He said it twice in 3 sentences.
He's got to be careful with some of those G words like great. You got to stick with those W's well.
Well, he's played well,
Yeah, that was. We don't really know how he said it.
Okay. He
lights
laced
it
him
up
up
like that. That'll look good.
Yeah.
Mike, that's Vladdy Domestikov that you're talking about.
Oh,
Boom.
Matt, he was right on the last episode. And Matt, a new streak begins because you are wrong. It was John Merrill.
Oh, okay.
John Merrill, the stopper. John Merrill's played really well. He's moved the puck well. I think he's earned the opportunity to play up there a little bit, and it just gives us a little bit different look. I think he's played really well for us. Well, there you go. That's the John Merrill story and another exciting edition of
it.
Who's That Pokemon? Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Jeff.
We got to get Mike to bed. Mike, you run off to bed. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Long story short, Red Wings are frustrating as all hell, and we've got more hell to come. 40 more games of hell.
I'm pretty last thing before we go. I was pretty bummed because I thought we had the formula for these 2 games to take home some wins. Fabry, Zadina, most of the guys not hurt, most of the guys not sick. Didn't matter. Chicago. Just right through our hearts. 2 wins, Red Wings. Oh, and I just remembered how that overtime game finished. With that botched one-timer where nobody wanted to shoot. So we decided to turn it over to Chicago and give them basically a 3-on-0. God, that was bad. All right, well, we'll get them next time, boys.
Woo!
Well, eat them up, Red Wings. Eat them up. Woo!
Oh, Ric Flair woo for a good measure. I just realized it's WrestleMania in the background. That's what made me think of doing that. We didn't put up our Red Wings background. Oh, well. Everybody, don't forget to check out Brothers of Discussion.
That's okay. If you heard in the last Red Wings game, they played the Stone Cold theme and then Macho Man Cream of the Crop and Ric Flair. So totally deserved.
Yeah. No, they did that. They do that. That's their little, they have their little built-in, I don't know. What do you call that? Who cares? Nobody cares what I, all right. See you, everybody. Have a good one. Let's wrap this up.
Cream rise to the top.
Get the fudge out of here.
Yeah.